if it was gonna be you, if it wasn't gonna be you, it was gonna be me, and you beat me to the punch, which is fantastic because I already have a lot on my plate, and that would have just made it. I don't know if that she would have appreciated that, but I do appreciate the fact that you set this up and just kind of kept pushing and reminded me. And again, I know it was like what, an hour and a half drive. Wasn't too bad. We actually had to, or we got to listen to a podcast, well, Bible study slash podcast. Myra Golden, Myron Golden, and it was about purpose. And I was like, man, I listened to it. I think it was like my fourth time or fifth time listening to it. Pretty much just really pounding on the fact of like, who are you? What are you doing? What are you doing for His glory? Like for God's glory? Like how are you using His gift that He gave to us of being creative in this world? How are we making ourselves better than we were yesterday? And so my question now comes down to, how are you making yourself better every day?
Every day. That's a good question, Miguel. Thank you. So every day, I absolutely make myself uncomfortable. I try to make myself better in a sense that I will always reach out to people. And so I'm continually door knocking. I'm working graveyard shift right now, so my energy is kind of, hit and miss. But I'm still going out there. I'm still knocking doors. I'm still getting rejected on a daily basis. And I always walk away from those rejections with something I could have said differently, something I could have changed. There's so much to learn, and it's a nonstop process. Like my mom asked me the other day, she said, "So you're a sub-2 student?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Will you always be a student?" And I said, "I will be a student until the day I die."
Pretty much.
So, and that's it. Honestly, knowledge is, I'm continually just trying to learn.
Yeah.
And interact with awesome people like you.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for coming out.
Dude,
today,
absolutely,
man.
bro.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, since day one, since we met, it was like this.
Automatic.
And no, it's great. It is great. It's cool that you're having that mentality. And I mean, I struggle with energy from time to time, but when I get around these people that are just like go-getters and go-givers, it's just like, whoop.
It's so different.
It's
honestly,
incredible.
It's like nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like a golden ticket and like these events you go to, like honestly, I'm getting goosebumps. Like,
yeah,
amazing people. I love our community.
It's incredible. It is incredible. They're such go-givers, and it sometimes comes to the mind. It's like, how do we let people understand that we're not in the game to take advantage of anyone, but we're more in the game to help people. I have still kind of figuring that out especially when it's not like face-to-face interactions. Mm-hmm. It's tough because you have the text messaging that becomes very blurred because you don't have the emotion behind the face, or even the phone call. Like even that, I'm not a fan of calling. I'm more on the connection side. I know you're going face-to-face with people. We each have our own avatar, our own skill, and that's one of your skills is just going up to that door, knocking, hey, how can I help you? And what, as of right now, what has been your best situation and what has been the worst situation?
That's a very good question. So the worst situation, let me check the time. The worst situation, oh my gosh. Okay, the worst situation was when I tried one of my first deals. I tried to do a sub-2 deal by myself, right? Like I had some outside input, but it was before I joined the community. I was trying to do it backwards, right? Which is just weird. That's the way I do things sometimes. I had to prove to myself I could do a sub-2 deal before I joined sub-2. Anyway, what happened was this sweet old lady, I helped her out. I stopped the auction from happening a week prior.
Nice.
I ended up securing a deposit for her at a place because her credit was bad. So my wife and I lined up a place for her to live. We got keys for her and everything. We gave her a 5-day cancellation period on the contract. And I was like, look, if you could find a better offer, I would love that for you. I want you to go out, see if you can get something more.
Yep.
Okay, that 5 days came and went. The weekend before closing, we get a call from her next door neighbor, who's a real estate agent.
Oh, no. Here they come.
Actually, the call went to my escrow agent.
Yeah, we were just talking about agents and how wonderful they can be.
So she called my escrow agent. My escrow agent says, I have no business talking to you. Hung up the phone. 5 minutes later, we get a call from the seller and you can hear the agent in the background. She says, you know, I'm calling because I was under distress when I signed the contract. I was coerced into doing it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So long story short, we ended up, I had already been deeded the property. I'm a little fish. I did not have the ability to go fight it in court. We ended up deeding it back. They ended up going and listing it on the market again later for a price that I would have paid, mind you. And so where I went wrong is I did not ask for her permission to record the phone calls. We had absolutely amazing phone calls, but here in California, you need to ask for their permission. So I was not able to use that in court. Number two, I gave her everything she wanted. I got her security deposit on her house, the new place.
Yep.
I got rid of the pain of the auction. And I also gave her an offer that someone was looking to buy her house. She was happy with the price I was willing to pay, right? So I learned that from Jeremy Davis. He said, you shouldn't have given her everything. Because then they'll come away from it thinking, I could have gotten more. That was so easy.
I remember that. Yep.
And another thing I didn't do is I didn't use a transaction coordinator as a third-party buffer for the documentation. Because I sat down with her, a notary, my wife and stuff, and we got all the paperwork taken care of together. However, if I had to use a transaction coordinator, it could have been an additional buffer between myself and the seller because they're the ones that would go through it with a fine-tooth comb and say, hey, look, here's what it is, here's what it means. Not me, Mr. Guy, flexing on old lady, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's what I learned from that. The best deal that happened is we kept, there's an older couple, gentleman lost his job. He was the sole provider for his household. He lost his job over a year into the time I met them. Their auction was 2 weeks away. I knocked the door. Coincidentally, I was wearing a hat from the church I attend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They went to the same church.
Oh, wow.
And that kicked off the conversation. So I ended up seeing what was going on. They told me the situation with the job. They didn't have the ability to pay up the arrears, which, mind you, was about $120,000. So what we ended up doing, I partnered with Uncle Lonza and Bob Sedai, and we ended up getting them their arrears caught up so that they were relieved of the auction pressure, having to have this home foreclosed on.
Right.
They were able to then move to their new location out in Florida, start over again, their credits back in good standing, right? And they got a new lease. We ended up selling it on the MLS, but they got a new lease on things. We stopped the auction, and they're in a good position now.
So you wholesaled it?
Yes.
Nice. There you go. Dang. That was how long ago?
We closed on that in October.
And that's when you were in sub 2?
I had joined just after.
That was that kick.
Yep.
That got you into it. Yeah. So how did you get a hold of Mr. Lonza himself?
So I was working with his partner, Bob. Bob said I helped me out tremendously. He's taught me a lot of what I know today.
Nice.
And I'm very thankful for him.
Shout out, Bob?
Yeah. Shout out Bob. Right on, man.
Appreciate you, man.
And so he's the one that connected me with Uncle Lonza, and it's been wonderful ever since. We went, sat down, had dinner. My wife, his wife, and all of us, we got to break bread, and so that's how I got to connect with Uncle Lonza.
That's awesome. And since then, have you had any connections with Mr. Lonza himself? Or
yeah, actually, we just chatted today, right before this event, actually. Yes. So there's a new fundraiser that's taking place. From my understanding of it, it's to see who can do the most good deeds, right? Like you're going to be recording.
Is that with Mr. Charlie himself? Or is that something completely different?
I honestly, I don't know the full spectrum of it, so maybe I shouldn't even mention.
No, go ahead. But, go ahead. I mean, it's something as long as it's out there,
of it, right? And so I heard this yesterday. Veronica, I believe, from Sub 2 reached out like, "Hey, look, we're looking for leaders in the area willing to help put on this fundraiser." And I'm like, "Sign me up! Anytime I can get a chance to help some people out, I'll make the time."
There you go.
Right? That's just how we do it here, really.
So, okay, give me a little bit more details. What is it? Like, from what you know, when is it? How much? How can we donate?
See, and that's why I wish I could give more details because I just briefly combed through the email. It's April 6th. I know is the actual date of the event.
Nice.
But I am not sure if we're supposed to build good deeds up until then, or what. So, I apologize.
So from what I know and from what I've heard, it's Charlie Rocket himself.
Okay.
And the situation was on, I think, the 6th of April. It's everyone does as much good deeds as possible in your everyday life. But also before then, to get to that point. But the whole point is April 6th is like the max one that you go full send. You go, I don't know, do something. I don't know what we're going to do, but, yeah, I remember posting it. Yeah. But yeah, you got to let me know what's going on with that one. April, what did that fall on? A Saturday?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll look it up. Awesome, dude. Like, I'm so proud of you. Again, coming back down to this, doing the meetup, your journey so far, your character, your heart that, willing to give. It's incredible. And I just want to thank you for all that you do. And I just want to encourage you as well that, you're doing a great job.
And I got to send that right back at you, Miguel. I really appreciate you. He's taking the time to come out here. Stockton, right? You got work tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's taking this time to come spend it with me. I mean, that's freaking amazing.
Totally.
You have a great personality.
Thank you.
I love spending time with you. You're a wonderful connector, and I'm so blessed that I was able to spend great time with you at the Golden Ticket, now, and other events.
Are you going squad up?
Yeah, that's a goal. I have the tickets.
Did you put in the entry for those two? So I know there's two people that were, I want to say her name's Cassandra is one, and another one, her name is, I want to say Fatu. They're actually giving away their tickets as a raffle.
Oh, really?
Yes. Did I not tag you on that?
You might have. Apologize. I've been out of the loop a lot.
You gotta get it, bro.
Yeah, my new.
You gotta figure it out somehow,
bro. I'm waking up at like 2 p.m. now. Like that's it's weird. Like I'm leaving here in about 10 minutes, and I got to go build a bridge downtown Sacramento.
Oh my gosh.
All night, right?
Wait, so have you slept?
Yeah, I slept. I went to bed this morning at 6. Woke up at 12.
Okay.
So I got a good 6 hours in.
Nice. Okay.
But it takes some adjusting, right? I just started like a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. But I'm getting my energy back.
Yeah. There you go. Beautiful. 10 minutes. All right. Well, we'll cut it here. Appreciate you again. Thank you so much for all that you do, brother.